Often, the work of design teams ends at phase 4, but not for awesome admins. We're just getting started.
Awesome admin.
So far, we've discussed the first 4 phases of design thinking: empathy, defining the problem, ideation, prototyping. For episode 5, I'm super excited to hear from Leanne and Adam about the 5th phase of design thinking, building.
So we've gone through many design phases so far. Now we're ready to bring these prototypes into reality for our users, while including the feedback that we gathered. Adam, what are we working on next in this build and rollout phase?
Yes, Leanne, this is the design doing phase. Many design thinking processes leave out the implement or the deliver phase. Often design teams end up gathering feedback on a prototype and identifying a solution that is then just handed off to engineering. But because you are a designing admin, you'll also be building and delivering. At Salesforce, we pull the build and deliver phase into the design thinking process. As admins that practice design and declarative design, this is the phase that puts all of the valuable ideas and insights you and your team have gathered right into action.
So what does this look like in practice for designing admins?
Well, this means that you'll be digesting feedback from the last phase, determining what to keep, change, or combine from your prototypes, building your new page, and then rolling it out to your users. The good news is because we built our prototype in Salesforce testing environment like a DE or a sandbox using clicks, not code, we have our new page ready to be moved into production.
So in this exercise, we built our prototype in a Salesforce environment. However, in the last episode, Adam, you mentioned that you can prototype in different tools depending on the fidelity and interaction you want. So whether you're iterating on a prototype in, say, a wireframe or in a developer environment, Adam has some additional best practices for page design to always keep in mind.
That's great. Yeah, there are lots of page design heuristics out there on the web. There's one in particular by the Nielsen-Norman Group, and they published some great form and general page layout heuristics. Rebecca will share some of these at the end of our episode, but I'll just share a few of the best practices with you. One is to keep it short if you can. Keep your form short and your pages short and concise and to the point. 2, visually group your related lists and fields. That really helps users scan the page. Use logical sequencing. Match fields to the type and size of the input. Distinguish optional and required fields. And also explain any input or formatting requirements.
So there are some very specific ways that we as admins can implement these page design best practices with tools that we actually have built right into Salesforce. So in our prototyping phase, we got positive feedback for the new related lists and for the field sections. Let's use Adam's page design best practices to combine these ideas while following the guidance that Adam shared. So I'm here in my prototype 2 account page. When we surveyed our users, we got feedback that they liked elements of both of the prototypes we built, so we're going to combine them into one to give our users the most useful 360-degree view of the customer based on the feedback they've provided us. So first, I'm going to drag over my standard component for related list single. I'm going to make this one for opportunities and make this an enhanced related list because these were elements from that first prototype, prototype 1, that our users said they liked. It helps give them visibility into their customers' opportunities and other related objects. For your prototype, you can add any of the related lists that you would like that makes sense for your account. We're also going to bring another element over from prototype 1, which was having a component visibility rule. This is another way that we're helping our users have an intuitive page by making sure the right things are visible at the right time. So I'm building out this page to combine those elements from prototype 1 and prototype 2 that our users said help them have that 360-degree view of the customer. I also have my tab here with that standard related list single for contacts as well. Now I'm also going to spend some time on dynamic actions. You can get to dynamic actions by clicking on the highlights component in your page. And on the right, you can enable dynamic actions and select the source. What this is saying is what existing page layout do we want to pull a set of available actions from? And now, right in App Builder, you can determine what are those actions that are visible for your users on the page.
This is a really handy way to fine-tune your page as well, to reduce clicks and scanning and help them have a really intuitive page experience. And also you can use these to bring up elements that help give them that 360-degree view as well. Great. So I've updated my actions. I've updated my page based on that user feedback to give my users a 360-degree view of the customer in a way that's useful and intuitive for them. So now I'm going to save this page, and this time I'm going to activate it for my entire test environment. This is because we're going to gather feedback across our entire test environment from our users now that we've combined feedback from both prototypes. I can also get a preview of what this looks like on mobile right in App Builder by toggling to the phone view.
Okay, our new page is ready to rock and roll. Adam, anything else that we should do to make this a great experience for our end users?
Yeah, one exciting thing that admins can also do to help build a cohesive look and feel for their users is to build a custom theme. At Salesforce, we make it possible for admins to express their own company's brand through our theming and branding tools. This is a great and fun way for admins to build their brand pride and familiarity with Salesforce experience for their users.
Let's go get hands-on and build a new custom theme.
So now we're back in our demo environment and we're going to go to Setup. When we're in Setup on the left, we can always do quick find for themes, or we can just scroll down to User Interface and find our themes and branding section. This is going to be where we can find the available standard themes and create our own. So if you ever want to test drive some of these existing themes that are here, you can preview without changing it for your users. And so preview lets you get a feel for this theme and branding and what the colors look like. But we're going to click New Theme so we can create a brand new theme for our environment. I'm going to go ahead and call my theme Be An Innovator. You can call yours whatever you'd like, and you can use whatever images and colors you would like, whether it's something you come up with on your own or your company's branding. Here we are selecting the hex code for our brand color. Now, if you're not sure what colors to use, usually in Chrome browser, there's a really handy extension, Color Dropper extension, that allows you to find colors from maybe your existing company brand palette, or your company may have a brand guide. Here, I'm just putting in the images that I'm going to be using for my page backgrounds and the logo that'll show in the top left. There's other options as well that we're not going to fill out today, but you have the option to fill out a default group banner, a default user banner, and default user logos. Now that I've created my new brand, I'm going to go ahead, or new theme, I'm going to go ahead and click Preview. This is a really handy tool to check out your new logo or your new theme before you deploy it. And when you're ready, you can click Activate, and that means that your users will be able to engage with that theme.
All right, so we have our new page and our custom themed Salesforce experience. So for this exercise, it's a great time to share your page and theming in your sandbox or developer environment for more hands-on feedback from your users. Once you've built your page, make sure to review the checklist of guidance that Adam shared. How does your page stack up against those principles? Where are there areas that you can make your field sections more intuitive or add more guidance to the page organization? This is when we really fine-tune our new page and leverage relationship design principles to build an awesome experience. In the next episode, we'll be talking about how you can get real-life feedback on your pages in production. Back to you, Rebecca.
Thanks, Adam and Leanne. Loving these design best practices that we can start leveraging right away. To summarize, some key takeaways from this episode are: 1, be mindful of how you label, order, and distinguish fields on the page. Build a cohesive look and feel for your users using a custom theme. And lastly, think about ways that you can fine-tune a new page by leveraging the relationship design principles that you've been learning all along. Next, it's your turn. All right, so use a developer edition, a sandbox, or a Trailhead playground to build your final page layout, incorporating all that user feedback, form and page layout, design heuristics, everything that you've learned. And then share that beautiful page with us on Twitter using the hashtag #BeAnInnovator. You can find some extra relevant, awesome resources in the Trailmix on the screen. And lastly, don't miss episode 6, the final episode of Be an Innovator with Design, as we learn how to validate with feedback. There may be some flow in there,